at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, for the ramparts we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, they proved through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner wave for the land of the free and home of the brave. On the shore, dimly seen through the mist of the deep, where the foe's haughty host in dread silence reposes. What is that which the breeze on the towering steep, as it fitfully blows, half conceals, half discloses? Now it catches the gleam of the morning's first beam, in full glory reflected, now shines in the stream. 'Tis the star-spangled banner along the eight wave of the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, thus be it ever, when free men shall stand between their loved home and the war's desolation. Blessed with victory and peace, may the heaven rescued land praise the power that hath made and preserved us a nation. Then conquer we must, when our cause it is just, and this be our motto: in God is our trust.
When Francis Scott Key was inspired to write the poem that became the Star-Spangled Banner, America had been at war with Britain for over 2 years in what would come to be known as the War of 1812. On August 19, 1814, a mighty British fleet entered Chesapeake Bay, and by the evening of August 24th, the British troops had invaded and captured Washington, D.C., setting fire to the Capitol building and the President's house. They then turned their attention to Baltimore, the country's third largest city. But this time, the Americans were prepared. Fort McHenry guarded the entrance to Baltimore Harbor by way of the Patapsco River. It faced almost certain attack by British forces and had been greatly strengthened in anticipation. Months earlier, Major George Armistead, the fort's commander, had asked for a flag so big that the British would have no trouble seeing it from a distance. Mary Young Pickersgill, a Baltimore widow experienced in making ship flags, was commissioned to make a United States flag that measured 30 feet by 42 feet. Together with her 13-year-old daughter Caroline, she spent several weeks measuring, cutting, and sewing the 15 stars and stripes. During their withdrawal from Washington, D.C., the British had arrested Dr. William Beans, an elderly and much-loved physician. Armed with a letter from President Madison, Francis Scott Key, a respected young lawyer living in Georgetown, went to Baltimore to try to obtain the release of his friend, Dr. Beans. Key set sail from Baltimore with American Colonel John Skinner, and on September 7th, they boarded one of the British ships to confer with its officers about releasing Dr. Beans. The British admiral finally agreed, but would not release the Americans immediately because they had seen and heard too much of the preparations for the attack on Baltimore. He placed them under guard and forced them to wait out the battle behind the British fleet. On Sunday, September 11th, the British fleet arrived at the mouth of the Patapsco River. It had been the British plan to take the city from both land and sea, but Fort McHenry stood solidly in the way of all ships. The bombardment of Fort McHenry began when dawn broke on September 13th. Key and his companions watched for 25 hours as the British fired 1,500 bombshells to light up the rainy sky. At dawn the following morning, Key held a telescope to his eye and saw a flag hanging limply from its pole over the ramparts of Fort McHenry. He could not tell whether it was British or American. Then the breeze slowly unfolded the stars and stripes. The attack on Fort McHenry had failed. Key was so overjoyed by the sight that he jotted down some verses of poetry on the back of a letter he was carrying in his pocket. He later showed the poem to his brother-in-law, Judge Nicholson, who liked it so much that he had copies printed under the title The Defense of Fort McHenry, and suggested that a well-known tune would go well with it. Soon after, several local newspapers printed the poem too, and in October of 1814, it was introduced in a theater for the first time as the Star-Spangled Banner. Over the years, the Star-Spangled Banner gained so much in popularity that in 1904, the Navy was ordered to play it at all ceremonial occasions, and in 1916, President Woodrow Wilson proclaimed it the national anthem for all armed forces. But it was not until 1931 that the Star-Spangled Banner officially became our country's national anthem. The original poem actually consists of 4 verses. Verse 1, the verse most of us know and sing, is used with verses 2 and 4 in this presentation. Verse 3 is rarely performed because of its dark and potent imagery. It goes like this. And where is that band who so vauntingly swore that the havoc of war and the battle's confusion, a home and a country should leave us no more? Their blood has washed out their foul footsteps' pollution. No refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. And the star-spangled banner in triumph doth wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. The original Star-Spangled Banner, the actual flag made by Mary Young Pickersgill, is now on display at the Museum of American History in Washington, D.C. It is an awe-inspiring testament to our nation's freedom.